Oskar Schindler did not come to Poland to save anyone. He came chasing opportunity, following the sound of war like many others who believed chaos could be turned into profit. He wore fine suits, drank with Nazi officers, and ran a factory that used Jewish labor because it was cheap and easily controlled. At first, the suffering around him was just background noise, something to ignore in order to survive and succeed. But the war had a way of forcing people to look. Schindler watched as the Jewish ghetto in Krakow was emptied. He saw soldiers shouting orders, families clinging to each other, children ripped from their mothers' arms. He saw fear not in stories, but in faces. And that was when the war stopped being distant. That was when it reached him. The factory changed after that, not in name, but in purpose. Schindler began to protect his workers, insisting they were essential to the war effort. He bribed officers with money, alcohol, and favors. He falsified records, exaggerating skills, changing ages, rewriting identities. Each lie was dangerous. Each bribe could have ended his life. When the camps grew closer and death became more certain, Schindler made his boldest move. He created a list, a simple piece of paper filled with names. Not numbers. Names. About 1,200 of them. Men, women, and children who would be transferred to a new factory instead of being sent to extermination camps. That list became a line between life and death. Inside his factory, hunger was eased, beatings were rare, and hope, thin but real, survived. Outside, millions were not so fortunate. Schindler spent everything he had to keep that hope alive. By the end of the war, his money was gone, his business destroyed, and his future uncertain. When Germany fell, Schindler stood among the people he had saved. He wept, not in victory, but in regret. He looked at his car, his ring, his belongings, and said he could have sold one more thing and saved one more life. But the people around him were alive because of him. Long after the war, they remembered him not as a businessman or a Nazi Party member, but as the man who chose humanity when it mattered most. Thus, greatness does not always begin with good intentions. Sometimes it begins the moment someone decides to stop looking away.